Hello and welcome to all of you listening out in the non-space of the internet. I'm your pal, J.Ishiro Finney, author and alien in a human suit, and with me today is...
Kat Rocha, CEO and Editor-in-Chief of 01 Publishing.
And this is Talking Shop. So, with the fourth phase of the MCU on its way, it looks like we're going to get a more woke version of the MCU.
The wokening.
With that happening, we decided it would be fun to go through and look at the source material. The woke, social justice-friendly version of the Avengers that are now currently appearing in the comic books. And then ask the question, can these characters be saved? Can these characters be portrayed in such a way that they would actually be interesting and worth watching?
Yes, this is going to be quite a challenge. Who do we have first on the chopping block?
I think the only way to start this is the ever-lovable America Chavez.
The cute and cuddly teddy bear of the group?
Exactly. She's overpowered, especially for the MCU. She comes from another dimension in which wokeness has created a utopia.
It's wokeness and ovaries have created a utopia. It's like Themyscira, but not fun.
Okay, the first step. Costume.
You're starting, can this character be saved by clothing?
The very first thing that you see is their iconic look. This is a visual medium, so we gotta start at the beginning. Their outfit communicates everything about them. So let's talk about America's costume.
T-shirt, sometimes a midriff revealing t-shirt with a star on it and a tough girl jacket. I can actually get behind that look.
Agreed. It's a pretty solid look. I like it. In fact, it's the only thing I like. On the other hand, I would say the character's biggest problem is her personality. Put bluntly, she's kind of a Latina stereotype.
That actually would work if done honestly. If you were to tell me that she was the tough girl Latina stereotype who flies off the handle and has rage issues, maybe can drink people under the table, can hold her tequila.
Okay, see, yeah, that actually would be interesting, but the problem is the stereotype that we're getting, short-tempered, ill-mannered, mean. We're supposed to applaud her for this. We're supposed to view her as a hero because of these shortcomings, not view them as character flaws.
Well, we're fixing the character.
Good point. We are fixing this, and I suppose the first step to repairing this character would be...
make those things the flaws that they actually are. If Tony Stark can have an alcohol problem, America Chavez should too.
Well, one of the interesting things about having an overpowered character with very human problems is suddenly their problems become everybody's problem. And if her problems get bad enough, they become the entire city or even the entire country's problem.
Yeah, she becomes the menace that you want to keep on your side. Otherwise, you're gonna have to put her down like a dog.
Great. The angry, preachy dyke who can punch buildings down. Just what we need. Don't criticize her haircut, or you might lose the Empire State Building.
It could actually be a punishment to babysit her. Would she be like one of those people that you only field when you absolutely have to?
Well, yeah, because America Chavez would come with so much baggage that merely fielding her at all would be a liability to you and everyone around you. I would have to imagine the collateral damage would just be insane. Another source of conflict for America could be her relationship to the Avengers even. The Avengers, they have a very public image. They're celebrities and they're viewed as role models. And let's face it, America Chavez's attitude problem and short temper could and would become a PR nightmare for the group, especially when she's viewed as a representative of America's Latino population. It could be like, on the one end, the Latino community wants to hold her up as a hero, right? But yet, because of America Chavez's tendency to think with her fists, half the country may just completely hate her.
And she's resentful of that fact, but at the same time, she's the lonely child who can never go home. Actually, if you were to tell me that later she becomes the next speedball in causing
A civil war?
Yeah, I totally wouldn't doubt it.
Well, considering America Chavez's political leanings and the fact that she came from an alternate Earth where wokeness and feminism created a bullshit utopia, what could be realistic is having her go full radical terrorist and start acting like the Bader Meinhof or the SLA, and that leads to a complete division among the younger heroes and the older heroes, and suddenly you've you've got America's version of this radical Avengers versus the classic Avengers that are more truth, justice, and the American way, to put it bluntly.
Oh, God.
And she believes she's fighting the good fight for communism.
You know, she's ripe for being a puppet.
She's dumb enough to be Dr. Doom's tool or a Zemo or
Hydra.
She doesn't seem to think things through.
If she was a sleeper cell for Hydra.
Actually, this was an easy fix.
Well, the character has a lot to her. It's just all in context and how it's presented. Is this character going to be a hero or a villain? The problem is that America Chavez has too many flaws and not enough things that you like about her, so that she just comes off as totally worthless and psychotic. But if you actually develop those things in a logical way, she can be a very well-rounded, nuanced character.
Well, the fact that she traveled time to steal Captain America's moment of punching Hitler proves that she would...
I'll punch Hitler first.
I'll destroy the timeline for my own glory.
What a cunt.
Yeah, that's a villain.
That is a total villain.
Amadeus Cho.
What value does this character give the world? He's just a lame, half-assed Asian version of Hulk. His very existence goes against the point of Hulk. Hulk is Jekyll and Hyde, through and through. The kindly Dr. Jekyll, the evil Mr. Hyde, that is Hulk and Banner. So no, this character, he's broken from the onset.
So we can shit can Amadeus Cho.
Yeah.
Alright, everybody's favorite disaster, Kamala Khan.
Let's just tackle the elephant in the room. She's Muslim. Now, obviously, she herself is not so fundamentalist that she's covering her head. She's not wearing a headscarf. The outfit she's wearing is supposed to be somewhat modest, but also in keeping with what Muslim women can wear who decide not to cover their heads. So the question is, do we keep a modest outfit or do we change it entirely?
I have no idea.
Would a different color scheme fix the outfit?
It would do a great deal to save it. That is such a hideous color scheme. I don't know why they chose it.
I don't know why they chose it either. There you go. Okay, you know what? Her in the black t-shirt with the scarf and she's wearing jeans. Yeah, go for that. Because it's also a salute to the character she's supposedly basing herself off of.
Which begs the question, how does this character reconcile being a quote-unquote good Muslim girl while trying to follow in the footsteps of her idol, Captain Marvel, a buxom blue-eyed blonde woman who, for most of her superhero career, ran around in a leather thong, a woman who spent a large portion of her life sleeping around and getting drunk when she wasn't pursuing her career as a fighter pilot, then astronaut, a woman who's probably dropped more than a few bombs on Muslims in foreign countries before she got powers and joined the Avengers. How does Kamala Khan reconcile this? I don't think that's ever properly been addressed.
She's a rebellious teenager. She is rebelling against her parents in every way possible.
Then why is she Muslim?
She's still a kid to some extent. She's been raised Muslims.
It doesn't have to make sense in her head, is what you're saying.
Yeah, she's a teenage girl. Mom and Dad won't let me go out and have fun with all my friends. Fuck them. I'm going to sneak out and I'm going to have fun with all my friends. I idolize this beautiful blonde-haired woman who's smart and tough, and my parents disapprove of this hero who's wearing a bathing suit. So I'm going to emulate her.
Okay, so then, in your opinion, what is Kamala Khan's defining characteristic? Or at least what should it be?
Her defining characteristics seems to be she's just an average girl who got superpowers and she's just trying to live her average girl life, but at the same time she's trying to live up to her hero. That part works as long as it's done honestly and is appealing to the right age demographic, which they're not doing. I would totally play up the fact that she is in high school acting like she's older to piss off mommy and daddy and drinking and doing drugs. I would totally play that up, and that's what happened to her that night that she got her powers. When she says, I thought I was drunk, no, she really was drunk and possibly roofied. Her friend is an obvious bad influence. friends. Even though her friend wears the headscarf, her friend is going to just as many parties and probably doing drugs. So it's the two girls together going out and experimenting and having fun and enjoying pretending to be older girls. And well, if you're an older girl, of course you're going to drink a beer. Of course you're gonna do this line. It's the I'm feeling older and sophisticated, and this is what older sophisticated people do, without any understanding of what it is that she's doing. And you have that be her arc of her torn between the overbearing parents, which happen in any religion, whether it's Muslims, whether it's fundamentalist Christians, you name it. You get overbearing parents, you are going to get an extremely rebellious teenager, and in this case a teenage girl, going to show mommy and daddy.
So basically what we've determined here is that aside from having a rotten costume, Kamala Khan is actually fine. She's a great character. She's just been the victim of terrible, incompetent writing.
Yeah, horrible writing and too much wokeness. They focus so much on the Muslim angle, they're not focusing on the human angle and the angle of this is a teenager pulled in two completely different directions, just trying to find out who she is in this world. And this persona of Ms. Marvel is who she's latched on to try to find her way. It's probably the thing that's kept her out of jail.
So what you're saying is, left in the hands of a capable writer, we would have actually had a very good book.
Yeah, I firmly believe that. And this is even after reading what we've gotten so far.
All right, next up, Shuri, the female Black Panther. The one and only problem with her, she's a villain.
What would be great is to actually develop that, where the people of Wakanda start figuring it out, that she's not a great leader. She's doing this under the pretense of T'Challa will come back, and that's why she didn't have to do the trials, but she's supposed to be regent. Really, what would be great is her keeping up this pretense of, well, when my brother gets back, I'll tell him how badly you've been treating me. Using all of those tricks that Wormtongue type characters pull when they've usurped a throne and don't want anybody to actually challenge them because they know they would totally lose the first time anybody really challenged them. So it's the, well, you know, wait till my brother gets back, when she knows he never will.
Okay, done.
Done.
Lady Thor.
Her in her current state, you can't fix. But I would just love for it to be, she's some strange ass creature that's been siphoning off of Thor's actual abilities, and Mjolnir can't tell the difference.
That would be a story worth reading, and it would also explain all of Lady Thor's behavior.
Yeah, and just because there are those who like Lady Thor, as much as I don't, make it she's a creature created by hell, and Lady Thor the person truly believes that what she is doing is good and righteous, and really she's delusional as fuck. And have her leave this world in an act of self-sacrifice. That way those who like her can have a satisfying ending and then never speak of her again.
And finally, Ironheart, Riri Williams. In her current state, she's essentially a villain. What redeeming qualities she has are far outweighed by the fact that she's a megalomaniacal psychopath. If we're going to fix this character, we're going to have to start at zero. So, when Marvel created Riri, what were supposed to be her defining characteristics?
The things that make Riri the character that they want her to be is that she is a black girl from the ghetto, and I am stressing that because they make a point of saying it. She's a black girl from the ghetto who's so smart she gets into MIT. Let's make her the female Dwayne from a different world.
So basically a total reboot of the character.
Total reboot of the character.
Alright, let's do this then. Let's reboot Riri. Go.
Yes, she is a black girl from the ghetto, and she works her ass off. She doesn't want to grow up in that environment. And I grew up in Inglewood. I know what that environment is like. She wants to get out of that. She knows she's smart. She makes a point of taking the bus and going to every fair that Tony Stark has and get in front of Tony and say, look, Mr. Stark, you need to pay attention to me. I am that badass. And Tony goes, you know what? You're right, and helps her to get to MIT. And she becomes the pariah of her family, and she doesn't want to talk about them, and they don't want to talk about her. That is going to be her conflict while she's in college.
maybe to flesh out why Riri wanted out of the ghetto so badly, I would include the reality of every black nerd I knew growing up. And that was, if a black kid was into D&D or goth or anything outside the norm, other black kids would go out of their way to beat the ever-living shit out of them. That was the thing about black kids who were goth or punk or whatever. They knew how to fight because they had to.
Oh God, just all these possibilities.
You could also play up the baggage that comes with affirmative action. You could have it that the other students believe Riri is purely there as an affirmative action stunt by the university, that their black child prodigy is strictly there so MIT can trot her out whenever they want to impress the right people. And in fact, you could have it that even though she is there on her own merit, the school is using her as a performing pony for the media.
You could even have the dean of students say, it's like, yes, Tony may have sponsored you to be here, but in order for you to stay here, you need to do what we say.
And maybe even the school finds out that she's been fighting crime and suddenly they've got a big media fiasco on their hands and they're trying to force her to choose between MIT and the Avengers.
Suddenly, with building the tension that she has with her family, the neighborhood that she's grown up with, she leaves one conflict-ridden world for another, and it builds up her character and develops her as a person. We have now made her fully fleshed out.
So this was our take on how we could reboot or fix these characters. Good talking to you. As always, please support us on Subscribestar. It's the only reason we can do this. In the meantime, YouTube does not inform people that these videos go up, so please share them.
Yes, the BOOBIE Crusader t-shirt, available now at tpublic.com.
And does your wife or woman have big tatas?
Don't you want to see the BOOBIE Crusader logo on her luscious tatas?